Hello, everyone. Welcome to Achieving Success with Olivia Atkin. I'm your host, Olivia Atkin. Each week, we will discuss the roadmap to achieving your personal and professional success. We give you real-life stories on growing personally and professionally to achieve your life and career goals with the help of some top-notch guests. Today, we are speaking with Cameron Schwartz. Cameron is the founder and CEO of The Confidence Coach. The Confidence Coach is the premier online platform dedicated to empowering men in their journey towards personal growth, confidence, and success. The comprehensive range of services are designed to help individuals excel in every aspect of their life, from dating and relationship to fitness, fashion, mindset, and beyond. You can find Cameron on his website, theconfidencecoach.biz, or by email at theconfidencecoach3@gmail.com. Hello, Cameron. It's fantastic having you on the show today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. This is lovely.
To start off the show, can you tell me what success means and looks like to Cameron Schwartz?
Absolutely. Success has a lot of different meanings to me. I think success means not necessarily achieving what we set out to do, but trying and never giving up. I think success can be achieving what we set out to do, but a lot of times we don't achieve our goals, but we're still successful, meaning maybe we want to get down to 8% body fat. We're starting at 25% body fat. We only make it down to 12, but we're happy where we are. I think that's still a success. We want to find love in life, and we have someone that we have our eyes and our heart set on, and we end up with somebody else. That's a success to me because we didn't exactly get that original goal, but we got something maybe even better. And so I think the idea of trying and never giving up is a huge part of success. And it's the same could be said about finances as well. Maybe we have a goal to make $1 million. We don't quite make it to that goal, but maybe we make it to 900,000. And the fact that we never stopped and we kept going and grinding and chasing that goal, I think that is a success. So success has a lot of different meanings and a lot of different kind of pathways to me, but I think the overarching theme is that we have a goal and we never stop chasing.
And I think that's so important. And I love how you brought that up because when you have the goal and you chase it, but then when you also realize that, hey, it doesn't have to necessarily, when all said and done, be this goal that I have set out to be, that 12% body fat that you had mentioned instead of 8, that different love. It can be a different experience than you even thought about. It can open doors and conversations and mindsets that you never thought you were going to go down those paths. So it could really end up being not that you didn't meet a goal, you opened other doors for other goals. You achieved other things that at the time when you set that goal, you didn't even think you were going to get there or it was possible to get to a different path.
That's so true. I love that because it's probably extremely true for both of us. Where if we think back 5 or 10 years ago, we probably didn't think we were going to be here where we are today. But I think we would both say that we are successful in our own rights. We're happy where we are in life right now and that we've produced and continued to grow in our own ways. But 10 years ago, we probably had different plans, different goals of what our success looked like. But we ended up somewhere else because we were open-minded to new doors and new opportunities. And I think that is a success because we never stopped. We never stopped trying. We never stopped pushing. We never let our goals fail. And even though the train tracks of life may have shifted us in a different direction, we still made it to a point of success. And maybe we're not at our complete successful goal yet, or at our end stop, that train station. But we're successful in terms of we didn't stop and we have made it somewhere where we are happy. We're not the happiest yet because we still have more to go. There are more train stops, but we're getting there and we never stop trying. I think there's something so beautiful about that and being opportunistic. I think you're totally right.
And it is something, like you said too, that when I look back 10 years ago, where I thought I was going to be, I thought I was going to be working in professional sports my whole
Mhm.
career. And I had a very successful career within professional sports and got a lot of different opportunities, got to do a lot of different things that people don't get to do in their whole careers that I got to do during that time frame of 6 years. But I thought that's what I was going to be doing. And then I pivoted because I wanted to try something new. I wanted to take my skill sets to a different area. Then ended up pivoting again. I very much say that I didn't think in, you know, July, August 2022, if you had asked me if I was going to start a podcast, I would have said no. I actually bring this up a lot that I published my book in July. The publishing company brought this idea to me based on conversations we had had and all these things that I should start a podcast. And I was like, no, I'm busy. And I remember in August when my birthday is having a conversation with my parents of, I'm no longer going to be teaching this year. That's okay. I have all these things on my plate. I'll really be able to dive into this at work. The book just got done, so that'll free up time space. I'm finishing this last certification I wanted to get. And I was like, so I'm going to be focusing on that this year and this and that. And then 3 months later, I started a podcast. And before its 1 year anniversary, I was like, how quickly life can change, perspectives can change because now my full business is Achieving Success LLC, a business I founded and run. And that is what I do. I left my corporate job. You know, I've done all these things. I was a TEDx speaker where literally a year prior, I was like, wait, I'm not going to be doing this. I can't see myself doing that. And then the growth within the year had changed so much that I was in a totally different spot, not just professionally, but personally and mindset wise, even on actions I take, like you said, it can shape how you look at fitness. It can shape how you look at relationships. And it definitely did that for me because you grow in a way that can change your perspective.
Isn't that amazing? And it all started with you being open-minded and opportunistic. And I once heard a quote, I can't remember who said it, but someone said that the difference between someone who is successful and isn't successful in their life is someone who seeks out opportunity and takes action on it or doesn't. And I like that a lot. I don't know if that's, kind of going back to the original question. I don't know if that's the only identifier of success or only, way to define it. But I think that's absolutely a key to it is being open-minded to the changes in life and the way that the wind kind of blows you. Uh, because we can set out with a plan. We can set out with a vision. And chances are it's not going to go your way. Chances are you're not going to end up where you thought you were, or you're going to meet the love of your life and move across the country, or you're going to get laid off from your position, or there's going to be life happens. There's going to be something. A loved one passes away, and you've got to take time off, or some derailing is going to happen. And I think that resonates with most people. And because that resonates with most people, it's so important to train that opportunistic muscle, to train yourself to seek those opportunities and be open-minded to them. Because if we don't, we shut doors down that could have opened up achieving success. We shut doors down that could have opened up the $1 million idea or the person that you were meant to be with. Or, how many times have we heard that story of, I grew up in my hometown and something happened. I had to move across the country and I met the love of my life out there. That would have never happened if that person wasn't open minded to moving or open minded to getting out there or just the changes of life. We have to embrace that. And I think that's really important for so many people to hear and understand because it's true in just about everybody's life. Shit happens, and you got to be able to deal with it and move forward and be open minded to those changes.
Yes, and that's the other part, and talking about changes and being open to opportunity, let's dive in to what made you decide to start your business of the confidence coach and really help others in different aspects of their life, whether it be mindset to fashion to the relationship side and fitness, because they do all end up going hand in hand in building your confidence. But what made you go, this is what I'm passionate about. This is the business I want to be starting, and this is how I want to help people.
Absolutely. I am 100% an empath. I'm a people person. And when I see people in pain, emotional pain, physical pain too, I suppose, but more so mental, emotional, psychological pain because of the positions they're in, it hurts me. And discomfort, sometimes that means putting people in more discomfort, but the right kind of discomfort. Some people can be in discomfort because they've never had sex, they've never been in a relationship, they're in emotional discomfort, they are depressed, they're sad, they feel like they can be more, but they don't know how to, and so they're stuck inside their own four walls. They get Uber Eats every single day. They play video games every day. They have no discipline. They have no drive, but they know they want something more in life. They just feel depressed. That hurts me. And so that is the wrong kind of discomfort. So the right kind of discomfort with that sort of person would be, okay, we're going to go work out. It's going to suck. It's going to hurt. We're going to go talk to women. We're going to go out there. We're going to put ourselves out there and try new things. Any new experience is going to be uncomfortable, but those are the right kinds of discomfort. So I have this feeling of I want to help people get out of those stuck positions because I've been there too. I've been the person that was too afraid to go up to people and chat and introduce myself to that cute girl or ask for that job or chase my dreams, really. And it's taken more than a decade to become someone confident enough to do those things. And over those years, I've reflected on I'm very introspective as well. I've been kind of blessed with that ability and that curiosity. And so over those years, I've thought about why did I become the person I am? Why why am I this way? What has made me successful in this thing? What has made me successful in that thing? Why did I fail in that thing? And so I've dissected a lot of these different aspects and I've kind of reverse engineered them. And pairing that with my empathetic side, I said, I want to help other people feel the way I feel today because I feel really, really good. And I know what it's like to not feel really good. I know what it's like to be rejected. I know what it's like to be heartbroken. I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like to feel the depths. I know what it's like to be on rock bottom. And I don't want people to be there anymore. And I know how to get you out of that. But it starts with you. You have to want to get out of that first. I can give you the tools and I am here to do that. So that's what really started this is I want to be the tool giver. I want to guide someone. The hardest part, though, is convincing someone to get to that point because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? And so someone needs to want to change, but then the trick is how do I change? And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, and that's where I come in. And it comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of compassion. I don't like seeing people hurt. I it hurts me because I have been there. And so that's what started all of this is feeling those emotions for those people, pairing it with my introspection, and then thinking to myself, I can help make a good change. I can make a little dent in the universe through my successes, through my failures and my wisdom and my ability to connect with people. And so I opened up shop and here we are.
And I think that's an important aspect as well that you bring to the table is not just giving someone the tools that they need to challenge themselves and grow and get to that point of confidence like you have now, but also understanding the different roadblocks that might be in their way now. The thought, the emotion, the experiences they have had as well, and being able to relate to that in some level also opens the door to transparency, relativity, being able to go, there's a judgment free zone here. Like,
Yeah.
let's really work together, drop all the walls, break them down, and rebuild because I'm here to only help in a positive manner.
Absolutely. That vulnerability is so important to being able to share my stories. That relatability, I should say, is crucial because I talk with my clients about some really personal things. I mean, talking about relationships, talking about goals, your body, sex, all these things are very, very vulnerable topics. And so to get people out of their shell, to get people more comfortable with me, it's not like a psychological hack or trick. It's just how humans work. If I open up and share my story about where I was, because I can relate to that individual, people are like, okay, this guy understands. I can open up a little bit more to him. And I hope I convey that appropriately to my people because it's critical, it's crucial, especially on a first meeting with somebody where you got to get to know their story, you got to get to know what their struggles are. Those things are really, really, I mean, that's why we have uh surface level conversation when we meet someone at a bar or an event or something. You don't get right to the nitty-gritty on your first meeting. I do. And so in order to do that, I've got to channel my kind of relatability skills and vulnerability as well, because I've got to be able to pull that information out of them and pull that vulnerability out of them. It's kind of like help me help you. So that's really, really important. Like you said, I've got to be able to channel my past experiences, which also isn't easy. But the whole system is so rewarding because you see these people open up and make a complete 180 flip. And none of it is easy. None of it is being vulnerable, making the changes you got to make in life to be who you want to be. None of it is easy. It's never easy, but it's always so worth it.
For you, having conversations, no matter the setting, and getting to the spot where you're vulnerable and having real conversation, not surface level conversation, can be so hard, especially within a relationship, depending on what your past experiences are, whether it's heartbreak, not experiencing it before, all these different things. For you, when you're coaching relationship aspects, what are some things you try to tell individuals of, hey, look or approach this conversation this way? How keep this in mind from another person's perspective? What are some of those things like?
Yeah, everybody is so different. Everybody has different struggles and backgrounds, and there's just no cookie cutter way to do it. That everybody has their own traumas, their own insecurities, their own story, and so there's just no cookie cutter way to do it. And if someone says there's a program out there to get everyone better at something, it's a scam, it's a lie, it's just not true because we're all so unique. We are fingerprints where everything is just so different from person to person. So if I have someone who is struggling with communication, let's say, maybe we'll say in their relationship, something I love to share with people is we'll take I kind of have to get into like specifics, a specific example maybe, instead of being more overarching. If a couple, and I'm no relationship therapist. I will never say I'm a therapist or anything. Um, but when I work with someone who's trying to get better at relationships and arguments are something that's just a real tender topic. They don't know how to argue. They don't know how to communicate effectively when they're hot-headed or something. One little tidbit that I like to give people is when you are in an argument, with your significant other, I think it's really important to shift your perspective, shift your mindset, and say in your own head, it is you and I versus the problem. It is not you versus me. And that little perspective shift can really de escalate things in your own mind. But it's hard. It's really hard because you're thinking emotionally. When you're hot headed, we can either think emotionally or we can think logically. Very rarely can we think both at the same time. And so when we're in the middle of such a heated argument, we're thinking emotionally, we're angry, we're sad, we're frustrated, we're disappointed, whatever these sort of negative, hot emotions are, we're not thinking, oh, I wonder what it's like for the other person. I wonder what their background is like. What is their trauma? What are their insecurities? You're not thinking that because those are logical thoughts. But if we can train our mind to think more logically in those situations, we will be so much better off because we know it's not right to shout and yell and attack the person we love. We know that, but we're overridden with emotion, and so we react accordingly. So I'll always recommend in a situation like that, try your best to take a step back and think, okay, it's you and I versus the problem, not you versus me. Because then you start to communicate with each other a little bit differently in a more conducive manner where you're actually going to accomplish a goal together instead of putting each other down and potentially ruining the relationship. So I hope that answered your question. I had to kind of bring it into a more specific case there, but
No,
that's one little tidbit.
it definitely did. And I love the fact that you mentioned the goal you're trying to accomplish, right? By arguing that goal is to solve a problem. So, what is that problem? And remember that sometimes and be able to communicate that, but also identify what is this conversation supposed to get me? Like, where is it supposed to go? What
Hmm.
do I want that to be? What are some other things and I like how you brought it down to an example. So why don't you give us another example of if someone comes to you, you do the part of working with relationships, but what are some other conversations that spill from a potential husband, wife, wife, whatever their relationship is to other areas of their confidence in their life?
Absolutely. I think that's a great question. I'm going to bring it back to fitness because that is kind of my North Star. And I think that's such a foundational place for humans. So I'm going to bring your question there. And the reason I bring your question to the fitness realm is because it's taught me and so many others so much about discipline, patience, consistency, getting through adversity. When you stick with a difficult, regimented fitness plan for years and years and years, it becomes more than just biceps, abs, and chest and legs, and it becomes more internal. And you develop these skills that I just mentioned, the persistence, the patience, etc. You develop these things that translate to other aspects of your life. And where the connection here is that those things can translate into your relationship. So what I mean by that is I'll use me for an example. When I'm in a relationship with somebody and they're really testing my patience, or there needs to be um, some extra communication, or you need to be disciplined to keep your mouth shut at times because you got to pick your battles, or whatever it might be. I think people can really relate to that in relationships when it comes to needing to be patient, needing to persevere at times. Maybe you have a flat tire at 2 a.m. together and you're hot-headed and there's emotions flying. You need to be able to channel those things that you taught yourself from the past into those moments. They've kind of become a part of you. So I always teach people in that position in relationships that if you haven't started working out already, do it. Get to it now. It's not too late. And changes are slow. These are big changes we're talking about because they're changes that are super impactful, these changes they're life changing things, and nothing life changing is slow. So I always recommend, hey man, or ma'am, or whoever, we're going to start working out if we haven't already. If they have already started working out and they've been disciplined and regimented, I'm going to refer back to those lessons that I know they have deep down. If they haven't, we're going to start working out. And within 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, they will start to learn and get a piece of what I mentioned. So I bring it back to that because it's something you have to feel. You can't say that to someone. You can't just speak that into existence. You have to make someone feel those things and learn those things. It's kind of like being in a lecture during university or something. A lot of times we learn best with experiences. We learn best maybe with our hands doing something. We don't learn best by being spoken at. That's just not how our brains typically work. Some of us maybe, but not all of us. So we really have to experience things for them to be tucked deeply into us, to change our psyche, to change how we move through life so that we can have a life-changing experience.
And I love that because life is all about life-changing experiences.
It's
And
true.
and that's the thing. It's how do you get that experience and that growth that really will push you to look at things differently, have different experiences, yeah, just be different you. And I think that's okay. Sometimes people forget or look at it as I can't change. I am who I am. I'm
Yeah.
stuck in my ways. That is not true. The littlest of things you do today can set you up long term, like you said, change is slow for when that moment comes for your total mindset to be different. The way you look at a partner to be different, the way you do activities to be different. And I think it really can start with the little things today. It's never too late, like you said, and you can just keep pushing away.
Absolutely. You're so spot on. Our minds have so much plasticity, and I don't think we understand that. I don't think most people recognize how adaptable they can really be through life. We can change. I shouldn't say we can change like that. We can start a change like that. But so many people are so set in their ways, and it's a really hard thing to change. But it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with the opportunistic mentality and being able to kind of go where the wind blows us. Having that ability to recognize our plasticity and say, things are going to change. I'm not happy where I am right now. I'm going to invite discomfort into my life and be a different person a year from now. That's huge. But so many people are set in their ways. And I think that's what blocks a lot of people from being able to progress is thinking, no, this is just who I am. I can't change. I'm going to stay closed minded. But being able to be skeptical, being able to be open minded, being able to think from someone else's perspectives, being able to just broaden your mind and say, yeah, I can do that. I can achieve that. I can, but that comes with so many building blocks from the beginning. You got to get to that point of confidence where you say to yourself, I can do that. I can become something different that I'm not right now. And I keep saying it, but it's a process and it's a difficult one, but it's so rewarding, but it's something everybody can do.
Mhm. And it's the other aspect too that I'm gonna challenge you on this a little bit and get your thoughts. But you can be happy today and
Yeah.
still want growth and still want change and still be open to change. You don't have to be in a spot of mentally worn, not feeling good about yourself to make a change, to grow as an individual. You can be very happy, be very successful in what you look at as what your goals are and still go, I want to change some things. I'm still open to the change, to the growth, however that might come in whatever form that might come in, because you never know. You might be super happy today and then hit a level a year from now going, I never thought I'd be feeling this way.
You can be content, but not happy, or you can be happy, not content. I think we can be happy today, but not content with where we are. I think we can always want more. I think you're spot on. Where I'm happy today, but I know there's more. I'm not content. I know there is a lot more out there for me. And so I will be happier when I get there because I know I will. But that idea of being happy now but not content is spot on. I think I just worded what you were saying just in a different way.
Yeah, and it's very true. So for you, as you've continued to grow, as the business has continued to grow, how have you made sure you're doing self check-ins, that you stay happy and not just content in your environment?
Prioritizing myself is difficult at times, as is probably with a lot of people, especially being an empath, being a bit of a giver. But I also try not to be a people pleaser because then I lose myself a bit. I need to have time for me. I need to respect myself because if I don't respect myself and my time, nobody else will. So my self check ins look like going to the gym, maybe sleeping in on a Saturday or Sunday, uh, balancing work and life, being with buddies, having a date, whatever it might be, me time. The idea of balance is something we struggle with in Western society so much. And I recognize that from an early age. And so it's something I really try to hone in on is balance, balance, balance. I want as much homeostasis as possible. And so with the self check-ins, I'm constantly reminding myself I come first because if I'm not good, I can't be good for anyone else. The product that I am, the service that I provide will not be top notch if I'm not top notch. I have to be mentally sound. I have to focus on my sleep. I have to focus on me so that I can then focus on others. It sounds selfish, but I come first so that I can serve them better.
No, and it's true because at some points, if you're run down, if you can't think straight, what are you really delivering to others? Are you really performing at the best? Are you really challenging someone's mind frame the most you can? Because are you thinking the best you can? And I think that's a really important aspect. One thing that through this conversation made me think about was the
Mhm.
fact that about every 3, 4 months, we have a big holiday season, whether it's like Labor Day, Memorial Day, and or Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and New Year's and those different pockets of times that can also make an individual really feel lonely at times, like they haven't met their goal, especially in the towards the end and beginning of a new year, right? We all have those goals we start to think about and set and go, "Ugh, I didn't meet that, or okay, I'm going to write this on a piece of paper." And then without that challenging mindset, 3 weeks go by and then it falls by the wayside. So, how do you try to challenge others, the individuals you work with that are clients of yours, that around holiday time to make sure they are pushing through, they are challenging themselves, they are keeping up with that mindset, especially when environments around us can either be you're really happy or you're not good.
Mhm.
Not really that space where people go, "I'm doing okay."
I'm going to share a little story. My best friend, I won't use his name, but my very, very best friend from when I was 5 years old. Uh, we talk frequently. He lives across the country, but he has struggled with weight his whole life. And he's come to me for help time and time again. And I've given him every tool in the toolbook, every piece of advice. I've run his macronutrients for him. I've done, I've helped him every way that I can. And he just recently had a kid. He recently had a baby, and it was a huge life change and life perspective shift for him. And about, what was it, two-ish months ago, 2, 3 months ago, we were talking on the phone. This was somewhere around September. The holidays were coming up, and he had been doing really, really well with his weight loss, exceptionally well. He was nearing in on his end goal within 10 to 20 pounds, which was very significant for him. But the perspective shift of having a baby was massive. So he kind of kicked his rear into gear, and we were talking about his goals. And he said, "Cam, what do I do during the holidays? My mother-in-law, she's such a good cook. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, hold back." And I understand not everyone is built, at least in the moment. Not everyone is built with incredible steel discipline, and that's okay. We're humans. And so I told him, look, as long as your chart to success looks like a stock chart, whether it's going up or down, your success point is point B, down here or up there, whichever way, some way to the right. As long as it's going up or whichever way, it may have bumps, it may have peaks and valleys, but as long as you zoom out and you see that you are being successful overall, that your stock chart is going the direction you want, we'll say weight loss going down. As long as you see that line going down like so, it may have, when you zoom in, it may have little bumps up. You may have little holiday seasons where you can't say no to mother-in-law's cookies or her amazing cooking, whatever it might be, and you put on 3 extra pounds. That's okay. Zoom out. As long as it goes back down and you're still trending in the right direction, just because it's the holiday season doesn't mean you need to get off track. As long as you're still trending, you are winning, my friend. And he was like, wow, I never really thought about it like that, because we zone in so incredibly closely to the day to day. We step on the scale. We think about that one text message from that one girl or that one guy. We zone in on the details, the nitty gritty so much that we forget to zoom out sometimes and say, you know what? Look at what I've built. Look at what I've made. Look at what's become of this situation. Like, she's still going on a date with me. I'm still going on a date with her. Like, we're fine. Yeah, we had a little hiccup, or yeah, I put on 2 pounds or something. Zooming out and saying everything is gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I still have a lot of time. I think that's a really, really important way to view that sort of situation, especially during the holidays.
And I think one thing I loved about what you said is zooming out. You hit the nail on the head with that one. Sometimes when we're in the thick of it, we zoom so far in, we forget that there is a bigger picture at play. It isn't about just today, it's that long term that we've been discussing throughout this episode. Is it's about the long game, not the short game.
100%, because that's how changes take place. Meaningful changes take time. They take effort, and anyone who's achieved anything knows that. Anyone who's achieved any sort of success knows that it takes time and things don't go as quickly as we want. Often, we have goals, we have ambitions, and things take a lot longer than we want. But as long, kind of going back to the very first question at the beginning of the episode, as long as we just keep trying, that's the path to success. It's kind of like, Rocky's old quote: doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up. As long as we keep trying, as long as we keep moving forward, that is the most important piece. We can't fail. We can't fail if we just keep moving forward. And some days we may take a step back. Some weeks we may take a step back. Some months we may take a step back. As long as we zoom out and we look back on our entire life or our entire year, and we've made more progress than we have degressed, then we are going to win. That's how you achieve success right there, is just moving forward one step at a time and knowing that taking step back is okay because in the long run, you're going to make it.
And I love that. And it is about making it in the long run. And I think that's a great way to kind of wrap up today's show because that was such a powerful message to also start to leave us with. And really, I think challenges everyone to think and really say, am I doing this? Am I challenging myself for the long run? Am I looking at it from that farther back perspective, or am I too in the thick of what's happening today and I'm getting too down on myself today with the pressure of everything that I forgot what is happening, the positives long term? Am I having those conversations? So that being said, how Cameron, if people want to get in contact with you, how could they connect with you?
Absolutely. They can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at the Confidence Coach 3, just the number 3. Or they can email me at theconfidencecoach3 at gmail.com. My website is theconfidencecoach.biz, B-I-Z. They can find me at all those outlets.
Thank you, Cameron, for all of your insight today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate your time. This was enjoyable.
This was so fun, and I think really is an important discussion to have. And that being said, a few of our key takeaways from today's conversation include seek out opportunities and be open minded. Cameron, it was something he said right off the bat today, but has really been a theme of today's conversation is that we have to be open minded to the opportunities that come to us, the moments that are happening around us, and not be closed off to the potential growth that we could have as an individual too, because it is the unknown, as well as it is not always a negative discomfort, but putting yourself in the right discomfort can be so impactful and can open your mind and just trajectory of just everything and transition. When we are putting ourselves in the right discomfort, we are growing as an individual, as a partner in a relationship, whatever it might be. But we have to look at discomfort as a positive as well and not just about a negative word, as well as when we are in an argument, think it is you and I against the problem. I think so many people forget that, like Cameron said, because we're emotional during that time. We're just, there's a lot going on. We might be upset about something, but the person standing next to us is also there to help us a lot of the time, even though it might not seem like it in the moment. Could also be because we're emotional and we're upset as an individual. We hear things differently. So when you take a second to breathe and actually take that breath and go, okay, what is really the problem here? Is it that person I'm talking to right now that just isn't getting what I'm trying to say? Or is it the tire we got a flat tire? Is it, oh, we don't have the parts we actually needed to put this table together? It isn't you and I, it's what is that problem? And then working towards those goals together, as well as changes that are super impactful can be done slowly. We forget it happens over time. We're not going to get instant gratification, especially in today's society. We forget that you can't just always click a button and get the end result. But working hard, putting a routine into it, doing it every day is going to make the most impact to ourselves. As well as one of my favorites is you can be content and not happy, or you can be happy and not content. I'd much rather be happy and not content with life than content and not happy. Thank you for listening to our top-notch guest, Cameron Schwartz, and have a successful day.